So a good question was posed by a member of another gym that I was made aware of, and it was asking, was I always able to lift heavy weights? Not at all. I wrestled 98 pounds freshman year in high school. I was tall, skinny, maybe 5% body fat.
Yeah.
I couldn't throw weight on for the life of me. My senior year in high school, I was a 225 bencher. I went into service. I gained about 40 pounds in service over 4 years. Came back, went to college. I lifted in college. Of course, I lifted in service. Still probably was only around 6-7% body fat, as I just had a metabolism that would not shut down.
Right.
More I ate, more active I got. Out of college, I was 185 pounds, and I was a lean, mean fighting machine. When I was first airborne, till this day. I got up to about a 285 pound bench. My workout then was lots of reps, medium weights, and I would work out 3 hours a day, 6 days a week, religiously. So it was 3 on, 1 off, 3 on, 1 off. I had a friend come over, hey, let's go fishing. I got another hour to lift, we'll go after that.
That's dedication.
I was definitely into it. Took a injury moving potting soil at about 35. Took 6 weeks to recover. Started lifting again, back tightened up again. Took a 5-year break. I shouldn't have, but here's the point. You can talk yourself out of anything because you listen to yourself.
Sure.
I regret taking that break. I really do. I was 39. I had a man, I was selling appliances, and a man come up, he was 63 years old, and he says, you don't look like you used to lift. I said, yeah, but I'm 39, I'm get up there in age and that. And he goes, well, I power lift, I'm 63.
Nice.
I was like, well, shut my mouth. I came home and I kind of did a reevaluation of myself. I took a good look at myself. I didn't like what I seen back. It wasn't me. I was always an active, athletic person. And I made a decision to change things. So I worked out in my basement for 3 years. Started really light. When I started back up, it was 135 was my max.
Right.
I did 1 rep. Next week I did 2 reps. Next week I did 3 reps. When I got up to 6 reps, I did 5 pounds. Because I knew having muscle memory, you can get back up to your max pretty quickly.
Definitely.
But once again, your tendons, your ligaments take longer to strengthen back up. 6 months later, I was back to my 285. I probably weighed 205 by this time. I said, well, I wonder if I can do more. So I always thought 315 looked good.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen some people that were tall like me, a little older than me, doing 315. I said, that looked impressive.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave myself 2 years to get there, and I trained for it. Different ways of training. I used to write it all down. I had a whole month planned out what I was going to lift. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't do that anymore because it's so inbred in me, I know what I'm going to do.
Right.
But about 16 months later, I hit 315 for the first time in my life.
Nice.
And I was 40 years old.
Right.
I was happy. And it just, 5-10 pounds a year, well, time I was 45, I hit 405. So my goal is to stay in the 400s as long as I can. At 58, I can still lift the heavy weights that I could do when I was 45.
That's awesome.
So I just broke a record I had set 2 years ago in that weight class. In November, I want to break it again. Those are my goals. So I train for it. So training means nutrition, it means rest, it means doing the right type of reps. I know how to get somebody strong. Other people know how to get people toned. Other people know how to get people big. So I don't train to get big. I have people that are a lot bigger than me because they're training that way.
Right, exactly.
I have people that have better tone because they are dieting.
Exactly.
It's all good stuff. I don't care if you're walking around a track, doing a treadmill, if you're doing light weights and high reps, everything is going to benefit you. And don't worry about where I am at or somebody else is at. See where you're at now and make goals. Make 90-day goals. Make 12 months goals.
Definitely.
Don't make a week.
Short
Don't
term.
make a week goal.
Yep.
You're never going to make a week goal.
Yep.
It's a bad one to make because it's going to cause you to overtrain or over diet. When I do cut weight, I cut weight 5 days a week. No one should ever diet 7 days a week. You got to have some fun days. Even bodybuilders have cheat meals.
Mm-hmm.
On Sundays, it's pizza and beer time. Because you have to, and your body needs some of that stuff.
Right.
You know, when you get a craving,
Psychologically, it has a lot to do with it too. No?
when you get a craving for something, it's because your body is missing something. Something in your diet is lacking, and your body remembered how it got it before. So whether it's a ice cream or chocolate or, you know, a burger or whatever, if you're craving it, there's a reason for it. It's just don't let it control you. So yeah, don't worry about where you're mentioned now, or where you're deadlifting now, or where you're overhead pressing now. Is try to see if you can get goals and get better at it. And then in a couple of years, you'll look back and you go, wow, man, I'm like 70% stronger than I used to be. And be proud of it because you earned it. That's good stuff.
Yep.
Does that answer the question?
Definitely.
I hope so.
All right, we're going to basically show you here some different spotting techniques, and like we're going to use the incline bench here. Basically, like I say, one of his next exercises that John usually does is an incline dumbbell press. So we're basically going to let him, explain that. Like I say, we've talked about the degree he uses basically the same thing that I would suggest. Basically, would be like a 30-degree right in that area, and try and stay away from the 45. Not saying that you can't do a 45 once in a blue moon, but you just got to remember the 45. It takes off a lot more of the upper pec that we're trying to develop, and it just puts more emphasis on the front shoulder, which bench press and every other pressing movement puts plenty of stress on your front shoulder. So basically what we're going to do here is get set up here, and then we're going to go through some stuff. We're going to let John go do his thing.
So same thing. We're going to start with light weights. Now, generally I've already done a flat bench workout, so I am warmed up. But a lot of times you still don't know what condition you're in on that day. So it's, say that you're using a certain amount of weight, say it's 50s you always start with, you might want to start with 30s. Just to kind of, number one, get the blood back in there, and to set that little test where I am today. And the spotting technique is much more important here because now I don't have a controlled weight with a bar, I have two separate weights. There's a lot of this movement, there's a lot of movement in the shoulders, there's a lot of movement with the elbows, a lot of movement with the wrist. If you use wrist wraps, that's good. All right, I don't. Once again, I never used wrist wraps. My mentality is if I need a wrap to hold the weight, maybe I shouldn't have that weight. But if you're sitting there trying to do isolation and you're trying to build a certain way in that, and you need to do the heavier weight, and make sure you have a good wrap, and make sure you have a spotter who is an experience. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a lightweight, and then Jerry's going to demonstrate the incorrect way to do the spots. All right, so I don't hurt myself in that. And then we're going to say why it is. So really going to give you a lot of good information. So I'm just going to start with the 30s. And the whole thing is, if you're going to self spot, I just put them on the knees. All right, it's pretty easy. You can pop them up now, or you can come back and do it. And then you get in a controlled spot here.
You see how he kicked him up? He just kicked him up with his legs. That's all you have to do.
Right. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you're nice and deep. That's the advantage of a dumbbell, because generally with a flat bar you can't get the depth that you would get with this, and then you come straight up. A lot of times you'll see people will do these, kind of get a little more shoulder action. But understand, you're doing a shoulder action now. This is a chest action. So if I start getting tired and I start struggling, Barry's going to show you what you don't do.
You don't want to do this here,
right?
Or we don't want to do this here, okay? Definitely don't want to do this here.
Right. When you grab the wrist, if somebody grabs your wrist, you're not ready for it. What is your reaction? Reaction is to open your hand.
Yep.
Do I want to open my hand when I got weight in it? Probably not. So when I come down and I start struggling, what he wants to do
It's here.
is elbows, and he wants to help. He's not doing the weight, he's helping, maybe 10-15%. This will also allow me to get extra reps in. Extra reps are going to do a lot of good for building muscle size and muscle endurance. All right?
Definitely.
That's where it's important. So it's always the elbow, and you see how he gets himself in a nice balanced position. Then when you're done, basically what I do is I just kick my feet up, bring them back here, and have a nice comfortable position.
And you're on to your next set.
Now, if you start doing heavy sets, a lot of times it's good to have a second person. Because I was actually working out with your son at one time when I was doing 150s. So I had his son and my son preload the weights for
Lift
me.
you the weights, definitely.
Because do I want to kick 150s up?
They're big.
Not really, because now I'm putting my body in some unnatural positions, and the chances to sit there and tweak something is great. Also, when you're building a chest, you gotta also build the back. So the rule of thumb is what you can push, you should also be able to pull. So my deadlift is equal or greater than what my bench is. Because the back is doing a lot of stabilizing. So the chest is doing a push, but the back is doing this. Your shoulders are taken here, your abs also in play, and your legs.
Core.
Think about it. When you're struggling, what do? You lift up. Now you're bringing your legs into play, you're bringing your abs into play, you're bringing your lower back into play.
Right.
So you have to have your core, and it's called core for a reason. Everything is based off it. So the muscles that you have to protect, your shoulders. Almost every exercise you do has your shoulders involved, even in squats.
Yep.
Your core keeps everything tight. The reason people wear a belt when they deadlift heavily is because everything wants to come this direction, and you have to have a core to keep it in there. The belt kind of helps you cheat. I'm probably one of the few people that does not use a belt when I deadlift.
No, really.
But it's highly recommended. Once again, my school of thought is if I need a belt, I probably shouldn't be picking it up. When I was younger, I used a belt, and I was picking up stuff I probably shouldn't have. Squat, I don't use a belt, but it's definitely recommended. So there are some exercises where a belt is a good idea. Don't see it as a cheat, but I try to keep everything where I'm putting everything into play. I've got strong wrists because I never use a wrist wrap. Ways to build up wrists, grab 100 pounders and just walk around the gym like this. Called farmer's walk.
Farmer's walk, yep.
All right. It'll help you hang on to weights, keep you from injury. So I warmed up with the 30s, went with the lightweight, kind of so we could do the demonstrations. You know, you kind of pick up to your next weight one. You don't want to sit there and jump too much. So I'll pop up the 50s next. Now, like Jerry said, this is going to be working up the upper pecs. And it kind of gives your chest a more full design. It's also a good exercise to bring up your regular flat bench, and also will help with the military. This is kind of an in-between exercise. You will start feeling it in the shoulders more. And then probably one of the best shoulder exercises is called a military press. You can do it with machines. Machines are safer, but you can get more range of motion when you use dumbbells over a flat bar.
Right. You'll hit your core muscles and stabilize the muscles and everything. That.
So let's talk about stabilizing muscles. Shoulder injuries are probably the biggest reason why somebody stops lifting heavy.
Definitely.
There are a bunch of small muscles in your shoulder that keep everything tight. So there are some exercises that are really beneficial. One of them is called field goals. Take lightweight, 5s, 8s, 10s, whatever, and this is all you're doing.
Rotator exercises. Yep.
And you can do these in large reps, 15 to 20. And what it does, it tightens all these little muscles and keeps your joints.
You ever do the cross ones too?
Yes. So the next one is to get into cables. Lightweight this way, lightweight that way. I do those twice a week.
I do those every day.
Never? And you can do them every day. You really can.
Because I've had two shoulder surgeries, and so.
The first shoulder injury I had after about 6 months, there was a physical therapist in the gym. And he turned me on to those 3 exercises.
Definitely.
In 2 weeks, I was back to 100%.
No kidding.
So even somebody my age can learn something from somebody else.
Oh, definitely. You got that right.
If you see somebody who is really good at something, here's always been my mentality. If I want to be good at something, I have to get with somebody better than me. You never get better, compete with somebody that's not as good as you. Whether it's sports, if I'm playing basketball against somebody I can beat all the time, there's no reason for my skill to get better.
Definitely. Well, that's even in here.
Yeah.
It's a good idea for you. Not to saying that the hardest thing to do is find a real good training partner. Yep. Somebody that you can. First of all, schedules, conflict. That has a lot to do with any time you train with somebody. But you want to find somebody that's kind of on the same. Him and I, we could train together off and on, but probably we wouldn't be real good training partners as far as, because I'm more of a bodybuilder, he's a power lifter, okay? I sure the hell can't handle 400 pounds, like I say, so I
probably can't handle a set of 30, but it's good sometimes for us to mix it up.
Right.
So there will be times that I will see something that looks interesting, and I'll try that exercise.
Right.
Number one rule: if you're trying something new, lightweight,
Yep.
because you're going to use a muscle you probably haven't used. Always good to break it up, and that'll kind of lead into one other subject we were talking about off camera. Also, we get stuck at a weight. And we're trying to figure out how can we sit there and get above that weight. Well, if you keep doing the same thing, you won't. So at that point, you've got to sit there and reevaluate, what do I need to do different? There's a lot of helpful stuff out there. You can go on YouTube. There's a lot of people, there's 10,000 programs out there. What I would do is I would look at the people who are successful. If I want to get stronger, I'm going to look at somebody who's strong. I'm not going to look at somebody who's big, but I'll be honest with you.
Right, exactly.
A strong person is not a big person.
Powerlifters are powerlifters.
Right. If I want to get big, I'm not going to look at a power lifter. I'm going to look at a bodybuilder.
Right.
And I'm going to sit there and take their advice, because they know exactly how to make this muscle develop correctly versus these muscles versus this muscle. It is a science.
Definitely.
It's not just coming here and lifting weights.
Yep.
Nutrition, huge.
Very important.
Probably more important
Food and
for
nutrition.
Jerry than it is for me.
Definitely.
I mean, all I got to do is eat calories and a lot of protein.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I have to do. He has to have his meals balanced. You got to do prep meals.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to sit there and you got to be on the scale every day. You got to watch it all the time. Me, I got to get on the scale about 2 weeks before my meet and see where I got to lose. I mean,
Right.
really,
Exactly,
you know.
right. You probably don't go. What's the highest weight you? So you compete at 241.
242 pound class or 110 kilo for
Right.
the world is usually where I compete.
And
Now,
how far up do you go past that in your normal life?
the heaviest I weighed in a meet was 250.
250. But I mean,
But I was in a 275 pound class.
so you jumped up to meet that.
Well, here's how it happened. I have a weakness. All right, it's called biscuits and gravy.
we all do that.
I cut
right?
down to 242, and the morning of the meet, Mama had made a big skillet of biscuits and gravy before I went to the meet.
Oh my gosh! So you.
So I went to 275
Wow.
because she makes good biscuits and gravy.
Oh, I love biscuits and gravy. I hear you.
Unfortunately, there was 3 other guys competing in 275 who weighed 275,
There. Yeah.
and they were not happy that I was competing their weight.
Really?
They literally said, "John, you compete at 242." I said, "Blame the wife."
Not today.
Yep. I won that event.
So normally though, you're not say walking.
Normally 242.
You're normally walking around weight. What do you normally walk?
About
around?
245.
245. You're
I
cutting
eat
3
healthy.
pounds.
I eat healthy 5 days a week.
That's yeah, exactly. And then
I
you can kind of
was-
venture off on the weekends.
This time last year I was 262. All right, I was bulkier. You know, the mirror this way. Oh, I look good.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, not so well. So, you know, I'm not a bodybuilder, but I don't want the stomach to beat the chest.
Right,
So,
right, exactly.
so I got back down to 245 is usually the weight I have cut
Feel
this down as
comfortable.
low as 222. Yeah, 222. I start to look like a bodybuilder,
Mm-hmm.
but I was told I'm too skinny at that weight by somebody.
Oh, really?
So
She likes a little beefier.
she likes a little
She
meat
don't want
on
to
the
see
bone.
them abs.
No. So I stay with the pony keg.
There you go, right?
But the whole idea, and I think what we're demonstrating here, is this is fun. Working out is fun. The people I meet in the gym are fun. This gym I enjoy very much because there was a group of us around the same age that really, even though we may not have been working out the same workouts, we were there to help each other. Whether it was Kent, whether it was Brian, Gregory would stop by every now and then and watch us lift. Just kidding. You know, we'd
He
always
does a lot of
always
that.
had somebody there to give me a spot. Always had somebody there to sit there and have good conversation.
Right, right.
Now, we are here to work out. So I will sit there and have a conversation for about 3 to 5 minutes, and then it's back to my lift.
Yeah.
And that helps you to stay in the gym. I started at one gym in Joliet, and for 3 weeks, no one talked to me. And I was getting ready to move to another gym. I was kind of surprised. I went out there on a weekend. I got my sweatshirt on, I got my jeans on, you know, I got the white hair, the white beard, the long arms. And I started benching. And there was a group of some pretty big guys, you know, 275, 300, 350
Right.
guys. And when I got to 2 1/4, one came up to me, his name was Chad Green, really great guy. He says, "Do you need a spot?" And I said, "I will when I get to the heavier sets." So when
Yeah.
I got to 315, I called him over. And of course, I realized I was the topic of a conversation over there with these 10 guys. And I think that
Seen
day,
this old guy
I went up,
lifting
yeah,
some
I went
weight.
up to 4 1/4 that day.
Mm-hmm. I
It
got a
was-
little respect.
It did.
there.
So they said, well, hey, we work out every Saturday. Why don't you come and join us?
Right.
Now the gym became enjoyable
Exactly,
again.
right.
So that's the idea. You know, you're here to get a training in, but you should be here to, number one, respect everybody else. Understand everybody's in here to try to get something accomplished. Be supportive,
Right.
and they'll be supportive to you.
Definitely. Well, you got any other exercises you want to show, or that you benefit anybody?
I think they have the machine here too. I believe it's over. Yeah, it's back here. Here's one of my favorite machines, and I call it a stretching machine. So we'll reset up.
Okay, sounds good.
Butterflies. So here's usually where I end up on my chest day. All right. This is a great stretching exercise. It's not so much about the weight I do, although I'll probably max it, but it's a great way to stretch out the upper pec and shoulder.
Pec flies.
And whether it's a machine that is interactive like this, where it uses my body weight also, or not, the whole idea is to get a full range of motion. So I've seen people who'll sit there and put a lot of weight and they'll do these.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I've bent my elbows, what have I done?
No
All right,
stretch, that's for
I've
sure.
just made the weight less.
Right.
All right, it's the old, hate
Yeah.
to throw some math at you, but it's the old fulcrum and lever.
Mhm.
All right, so you want to keep it out, and you want to bring it way out here, and sometimes just let it sit there and stretch that muscle out. And it's a good way to get some blood back in there. Your blood is carrying nutrients. It's going to help with the healing process. I'll start with a lightweight. I'll go to a medium weight. And because of my mentality, I'll go to all weight.
Hey,
So,
whatever works.
but this is usually where I end up. But this wouldn't be a bad warm up either with lightweight. Say your shoulders are a little stiff and you want to get them warmed up.
It's definitely a good exercise to
Yeah.
pump as much blood into those
Yep.
areas. Pectoral muscles,
Yep.
shoulder muscles, little
You know,
tricep.
if you want to sit there and, impress the wife, pump this up and then, take your shirt off.
There you go, right?
So this was really a favorite exercise of mine to finish up with. I think it helps prevent injury because they get everything stretched out and they get a lot of nutrients pumped back in there.
Blood's the key. There's
Yep.
no doubt about that. And any exercise, you want to get that blood volume in there. Blood heals. That's what you have to remember. Especially, like John said earlier, that what you're in here for is basically you're tearing muscle fibers to make them grow, make them stronger, and then with water. That's why we stress taking in the water. We should be taking. John and I should be taking at least a gallon of water a day. Basically, like I say, John just had a heck of a workout here. You got anything else you want to throw in
Well,
there?
getting back with the water, water, like you said, it's going to do all that. Also helps you lose weight, flushes you out. The body burns up calories to remove the water. A gallon of water throughout the whole day, whether it's through just strictly water or if it's through something like Propel, something with 0 calories or milk. Soda and beer is not water. All right, soda and beer actually dehydrates you.
Yeah, so definitely. So in that same way with coffee. Even though I drink a lot of coffee, coffee is a diuretic.
Right.
It will dehydrate you. So you got to remember that in the morning. I drink a lot of coffee, but I drink a lot of water. And like you said, I'll use Propel, I'll use Crystal Light, stuff like that. But like I say, either way, however you want to drink it, but you have to take it. You'll know when you come in the gym. If you come in the gym and you're dehydrated, you will not get a pump.
Your body has a great way of telling if you're not drinking enough water. All right? When you're done going to the bathroom, look at the color.
Exactly.
If
Yellow.
it's dark yellow,
Yep.
you need it. I suggest 16 ounces of water before you go to bed. 16 ounces of water as soon as you get up. If you are going to drink beer and soda, that's fine. But add water, increase the water.
Right.
In those days that I go out and have a few cocktails and that, about every second or third drink I'll have a glass of water.
Yeah. Well, not only that, it helps dilutes the alcohol in your
Right.
system.
Gets you
It helps
flushed out.
it helps you from possibly getting too much alcohol in your system, being drunk.
And then let's get into things of painkillers. All right, I know a lot of people they'll take a lot of Motrin before they come to work out and stuff like that, and kind of two ways of looking at that. It does help with circulation, it does help with the pain level, but here's the bad side. Number one, you're not going to be firing the nerves like you should be, so you're probably going to miss out on your maxes,
Mm-hmm.
and it could hide a potential injury that's starting to happen.
Right.
You start hurting somewhere, it's your body telling you, might want to hold off.
Easy
on that
way
a
to
little
tear something too, because you're numbing, like you say. That's something you probably should really not be taking before you come in. You know, ibuprofen and all that stuff. You know, that, I mean, obviously that's probably, to be honest with you, that's one of the hardest things on, you know, everybody's kidneys nowadays. You know, ibuprofen, does that stuff work? Sure, it works, but it's also, you know, you can abuse it, even though it's over the counter medicine. It can be abused. So.
I mean, if you're injured and the doctor tells you to take it, but don't come in with it. Wait until that injury is past, and then when you start back up light.
Definitely.
You know, get your body a time to sit there and readapt. You know, there's times where I'll take 2 weeks off just because it's healthy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I start back up, I'm not going to that workout I did 2 weeks ago. I might go to the workout I did 3 months ago.
And not only that, then you reset your clock, and you feel like you're a little bit more get you that motivation.
Get you a little bit more.
You know, motivation.
And then you realize you're more motivated because you're like, wow, I really missed being in here.
Exactly. Yeah. Definitely.
Takes 3 weeks to form a habit. It takes 3 weeks to break a habit. So I say never stay out of the gym more than 2 weeks. If you stay out 3 weeks, you may find it hard to get back in. But here's a rule of thumb. If you walk in the gym, you will work out. Even if you're not motivated, if you walk in here,
once you get in here,
you will work out because you will see other people work.
Yep, exactly. Definitely. Well, like I say, you got anything else you want to
thank you for having me here. Talking about one of my favorite subjects.
Yeah, definitely. Well, if anybody wants to contact you or anything.
I am on Facebook. I've got there's 3. One's a dead page, but I got 2 Facebook pages. The one where I'm in a kilt, because I am Scottish. I was competing in the Scottish Games last year out in Washington. I got 3rd.
Nice.
That's basically my workout page. So, you know, you can find me there. Basically, that page is going to be non-political. It's going to be about workout. It's going to be about positive things. And then there's one with my oldest daughter. You can find me on that one, but you'll hear some political things. Gregory knows about that. So I have 2 of them because I have one that's just basically about fitness. I do have a page. It's called Scottish Fitness Powerlifting, and I appreciate if you'd like that too. And if you're not on Gym TV, and if you're not on Bodyworks TV, you should. There's a lot of good information on this.
Thanks for showing up. Congratulations for yesterday for that big win in the Nationals, setting his world record. All right, well, we want to thank John again. This definitely was a great episode, and we'll probably have him back sometime. Maybe him and I will throw some weights around and see what us old-timers can come up with. Appreciate the time.
Sure thing.
All right.
Thank you.
And if you have any questions or comments, like I say, feel free. If you need to contact John, I think Greg will put everything at the bottom so that we can get everything set up. Have a good day.